Imagine going on a first date where a single bad choice doesn't just mean awkward silence, it means getting eaten by a saber-toothed cat. 100,000 years ago, our ancestors didn't have dating apps, romantic dinners, or love letters. They lived in a terrifying world of howling winds, dark caves, and giant predators. Yet, the way early humans chose their mates back then completely rewrote the rules of nature. It wasn't brute force or giant sharp teeth that won hearts. It was something far stranger, far kinder, and far more powerful. So, how did a fragile, hairless ape pick a partner when every single day was a battle for survival? The answer changes everything you thought you knew about human history. The trap of raw muscle. To understand how ancient dating worked, we first have to look at our closest animal cousins. In a group of gorillas, mating is simple. The biggest, strongest male beats up all the other males, beats his chest, and takes control of the troop. Raw power wins. Case closed. For a long time, scientists assumed early humans worked the exact same way. They pictured a giant caveman swinging a heavy club, knocking out a rival, and dragging a partner back to his cave. It sounds convincing. But there's a massive problem with that story. Around 100,000 years ago, human evolution hit a dramatic turning point. Our brains were growing at an explosive rate. Having a huge brain was incredible for making tools and solving problems, but it created a massive biological crisis. Big brains meant human babies had to be born early, while their skulls were still soft and small enough to be born safely. Because of this, human infants were completely helpless. A newborn gorilla can hang on to its mother's fur hours after birth. A baby human can't even hold its own head up. Think about what that meant for an ancient mother. She had to nurse, carry, and protect a helpless baby for years in a world full of hungry hyenas. She couldn't run fast, hunt big game, or gather heavy roots all by herself while cradling a child. She needed help. Now imagine a giant, aggressive male gorilla-type human in this scenario. Sure, he could fight off a rival, but what happens when the fight is over? If he eats all the food himself, loses his temper, or wanders off to fight someone else, the mother and baby starve. Raw muscle suddenly wasn't enough. In fact, a selfish bully was a total death sentence. Therefore, female choice flipped the entire evolutionary script. Women started ignoring the loudest bullies and looking for something brand new in the animal kingdom, a partner who was willing to stay, share, and care. This created a brand new mystery. If you can't just pick the biggest guy in the forest, how do you figure out if someone is actually a good person before it's too late? The ancient vibe check. Imagine you are living 100,000 years ago. You're standing near a campfire, looking across the flames at someone from your tribe. You need to know, will this person share their food with me when I'm sick? Or will they leave me behind when the snow starts falling? You couldn't just ask them. Words were still simple, and talk is cheap anyway. Early humans needed real, undeniable proof of character. They needed an ancient vibe check. This is where meat changed human history. Hunting a giant animal, like a wild horse or a mammoth, was incredibly dangerous and exhausting. Most hunts ended in total failure. But when a hunter actually succeeded, what did he do with the meat? A selfish individual would hide in the bushes and stuff his face until his belly hurt. A desirable partner did something entirely different. He walked back into camp carrying a heavy piece of meat and handed the absolute best pieces to the person he cared about and to her family. Sharing food was the ultimate flex. It proved three huge things all at once. First, it showed he was smart and skilled enough to track down prey. Second, it showed he was healthy. Third, and most importantly, it proved he was generous. Generosity became the most attractive trait on the planet. A small, clever hunter who shared his food was infinitely more desirable than a giant, greedy brute who kept everything for himself. By choosing generous partners generation after generation, early humans accidentally bred the aggression right out of our species. We became nicer, calmer, and much more cooperative. But generosity was only half the puzzle. Food keeps you alive today, but what about tomorrow? How could you tell if a potential mate was healthy enough to survive the next 10 years? Sweat, movement, and secret sense. Without doctors, blood tests, or medical records, early humans had to read the physical clues hidden right in front of them. You might think physical beauty back then was about face shape or smooth skin, but survival beauty was all about stamina and immune systems. Take dancing, for example. Every human culture on Earth loves music and movement, but why did our ancestors start dancing around fires in the first place? It wasn't just for fun. Dancing was actually a high-stakes fitness test. To dance around a fire after a 12-hour day of tracking animals required incredible lung capacity, muscle control, and energy. Someone who was sick, weak, or carrying a hidden parasite couldn't keep up the rhythm. Moving gracefully to a beat was a way of saying, "Look at my body. It is working in perfect harmony." Then came an even stranger test: smell. Scientists have discovered that humans are secretly attracted to the natural body scent of people who have immune systems different from their own. Your immune system is like a library of defense weapons against diseases. If you mate with someone who has the exact same immune system as you, your children will only get one set of weapons. But if you mate with someone whose immune system is totally different, your children get both sets of defenses, making them super kids who can survive deadly prehistoric viruses. Without realizing it, early humans used their noses to sniff out the healthiest possible genetic matches. If someone smelled amazing to you, your brain was whispering, their immune system is the perfect puzzle piece to yours. So you found someone who was generous, danced well, and passed the smell test. You were ready to team up, right? Not so fast, because 100,000 years ago, you didn't just date a person, you dated their entire tribe. The tribal Vito early humans didn't live in modern cities full of strangers. They lived in small, tight-knit bands of about 20 to 50 people. Everyone knew everyone else's secrets. There was nowhere to hide. In a small group like that, picking a mate was a community decision. Why? Because a lazy, mean, or reckless person wasn't just a problem for their partner. They were a danger to the entire camp. If your partner panicked during a cave lion attack, the whole tribe paid the price. If your partner stole food from the communal pile, everyone starved. Because of this, ancient humans developed a powerful new social tool: gossip. Around the night fires, people talked. They remembered who helped gather firewood, who threw a tantrum during a storm, and who cared for the elders. Reputation was the most valuable currency an early human could own. If a young man wanted to win over a partner, he didn't just have to impress her. He had to impress her mothers, her brothers, and the tribal elders. He had to prove he was a good teammate for the whole tribe. If the tribe disapproved, the relationship was practically impossible. A couple that tried to break away and live entirely on their own in the wild almost always died within weeks. In-laws weren't just annoying dinner guests back then. They were the original matchmakers who kept the species alive. The legacy in our DNA. When you put all these pieces together, an incredible picture emerges of who we really are. For millions of years, the animal kingdom was ruled by a simple law: the biggest, meanest, most violent creature wins. But 100,000 years ago, fragile, hairless humans changed the game forever. We stopped picking mates based on brute force. Instead, we started choosing partners based on kindness, generosity, intelligence, rhythm, and the ability to work as a team. The bullies lost, the helpers won. That single shift in how we chose our mates didn't just help us survive the Ice Age, it literally built the modern human mind. It created our capacity for empathy, our love for music and storytelling, and our deep need for friendship and community. The next time you laugh at a friend's joke, share your lunch with someone who forgot theirs, or dance to your favorite song, remember where those feelings came from. You aren't just having fun, you are echoing the exact same survival signals that saved our fragile ancestors in the dark, dangerous wilderness 100,000 years ago. We didn't conquer the world because we were the strongest beasts in the forest. We conquered the world because, against all odds, we chose each other.